Welcome to the CQ Blind Hams YouTube podcast channel. This channel was established to provide audio tutorials and demos of amateur radio equipment accessibly for blind amateur radio operators. 7-3 and enjoy.
Hello, this is Russ KN4MLR with a tutorial on programming code plugs for the Radioddity GD77 S. Before we get started, I want to go over some preliminaries that you'll need before you can get on the air with your 77S. The first is that you'll need a Dmr Id. You can get this from Radioddity. It's www.radioid.net. You'll need your current call sign and your name and a email address. It takes about 24 hours for them to process your request, so don't go running to your inbox as soon as you submit your request. The next thing you'll need, since this is a JAWS tutorial, or you are using JAWS, are the JAWS scripts for the Radioddity GD77 S. You can get the scripts from Doug Lee at www.dlee.org. That's Delta Lima Echo Echo.org. Navigate to the Radioddity link and download the scripts from there. The file is an executable. When you execute the file, the scripts will be installed in the right folder for whichever version of JAWS you're running. The next thing you need is the GD77 S software. This can be had from Radioddity at www.radioddity.com. Navigate to the download section and make sure you download the software for the GD77 S, not the GD77. One other thing you need to do is install the driver for your programming cable. This is done by plugging one end into the radio, the other end into your computer, into a USB port. Turn the radio on, and the drivers will be automatically installed. Next, you'll need a local DMR repeater. You can find this by Googling DMR repeaters, followed by your city and state or your zip code. You'll get hits on various repeater directories for your area. And what you're looking for is a DMR repeater, the receive and transmit frequencies, and the color code for the repeater. Now, the color code is not a color, it's a number, and you'll oftentimes see it abbreviated in a directory as CC followed by a number, and that's the number you need. If by chance you can't find a repeater in your area, you'll need what is called a hotspot. A hotspot is a little device that is actually a micro repeater. You connect it to the internet either by your Wi-Fi or plugging it into your computer. The setup of a hotspot is really way beyond this tutorial and probably needs a tutorial of its own. You'll need a talk group or several talk groups. You can get this by Googling Brandmeister Talk Groups. It's BRANDMEISTER. The first hit you get will undoubtedly be the Brandmeister Network website, and from there you can choose well over 1,000 talk groups that are out there. But I'm going to give you two talk groups in this tutorial. One is Blind Hams and the other is Worldwide. Worldwide is a very active talk group. As its name implies, it's hams from all over the world. Very interesting to listen to. Okay, if you've hung in there this far and you're not discouraged, let's get going with programming a code plug. All right, we're ready to go to start writing a code plug. First thing we need to do is launch the DMR programmer.
Enter. DMR programmer is ready. GD77 S. Preview. 1 of 1. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys. GD77 S. Closed.
And the first thing we see, or hear rather, is the GD77 S program tree. This tree is very much like File Explorer, where you might start off with a C drive, and then expand the C drive, and underneath you'll have all your folders. You can expand a folder. There are more folders or different files. This is the same idea. To expand the tree, here you press the right arrow key, and to collapse it, you press the left arrow. So
GD77 S closed 1 of 1.
It's closed, so we're going to open it with the right arrow.
GD77 S open 11 items.
And we're going to down arrow.
1. Basic information 1 of 11.
Basic information, we can skip that.
General setting.
General settings, that's the first one off. And there are no other nodes to expand on general settings, so you can just open the edit window with the space bar.
Space. Radio name edit. Type in text.
There's your radio name, and you can give that any name you want, like GD77 S. I think I'm just going to type in my name.
RUSSELL.
And press tab.
Tab. Radio ID edit 00000001. Type in text.
And that's the DMR ID that you'll be sent by Radio ID, and you just want to key in that number there.
Num lock on. 310305 Num lock off.
That's mine. So press tab.
Tab. Alert tone. Disable all tone checkbox not checked. To check, press space bar.
You can skip that checkbox.
Tab. Channel freq indication tone checkbox not checked. To check, press space bar.
I'd check that one.
Space checked.
That gives you a tone when someone lets off their mic button. You'll know that the transmission has ended. And tab again.
Tab. Self-test pass tone checkbox not checked. To check, press space bar. Space checked.
We want that one. That's when you turn your radio on. You get the self-check tone, and tab one more time.
Tab. TX exit tone checkbox not checked. To check, press space bar.
That one's kind of optional. I went ahead and checked it on mine.
Space checked.
That's just when you release your mic button, you'll get a tone, and you may like that, you may not. But tab again.
Tab. Radio name edit. Russell. Type in text.
And we're back to the beginning. So we finished the general setup, and you can come back to that anytime and check or uncheck boxes. But we're going to leave it alone for the moment. And we'll close it with a Control F4.
Close. General setting. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
Now, before we go on, I want to explain the 4 steps of setting up a talk group. The first step is to key in the talk group name and the talk group ID. Second step is to set up a receive group, one for each talk group. So if you have 10 talk groups, you're going to have 10 receive groups. Third step is to set up a channel for your talk groups. And that's where you enter frequencies and the talk group and the receive group, and I think color tone or color code and time slot is also entered in that. Then the final step is to set up a zone or zones. This allows you to sort of organize your channels so that you can remember what's where and what. So first thing we're going to do is set up a DMR talk group. And in this software, talk groups are referred to as contacts. And I'm just going to stay with contacts because that's what's used throughout the program. So when you hear me say contacts, it's the talk group. So we're going to down arrow.
Buttons.
Past buttons.
Text message.
Text message. Past that.
Privacy.
Past that.
Signaling system closed.
One more time.
Contact closed.
There we go. Contacts. And we're going to open that with a right arrow.
Contact open 2 items.
And down arrow.
2. DTMF 1 of 2.
That's not what we want. One more time.
Digital contact closed.
Digital contacts. And we'll open that with a right arrow.
Digital contact open 3 items.
And there's a heading called digital contacts. And in the default code plug that we just opened up, there are 3 contacts set up, and I'm not going to go into a long explanation of why we want to delete contacts 2 and 3, but that's what we're going to do. So down arrow,
3, contact 1, 1 of contact 2,
contact 2, just press your delete key,
contact 3,
and we got rid of 2. We're going to get rid of 3,
contact 1,
and now we're back to contact 1. Now for this tutorial, I'm going to set up 2 talk groups and 1 analog repeater. So right now we only have
contact 1, 1 of 1,
just 1 contact. We're going to up arrow
2, digital contact, open, 1
to
item,
the heading, and we're going to press the application key to add a contact.
context menu, drop down sub menu, to navigate, press up or down arrow, add sub menu, A,
That's what we want. We want to add, press enter.
enter, group call, G,
Group call is what we want. But if you down arrow,
private call, P,
you have private call and down arrow again.
all call, A,
All calls. All call you will never use.
private call, E,
Private call in rare occasions. That's why that's why we deleted those other 2 contacts, because one was an all call, the other was a private call.
group call, G,
Group call, that's what we want. Press enter on that.
enter, leaving menus, preview, digital contact, open, 2 items, to move through or expand items, use the arrow keys,
So now we've got 2 items, 1 each for our contacts.
3, contact 1, 1 of 2,
Start there, contact 1. Let's press the space bar.
space, name edit, contact 1, type in text,
First field we come to is the name of the contact. We're going to set up blind hams,
B, L, I, N, D, space, H, A, M, S,
and we're going to tab.
tab, call ID edit, 000000001, type in text,
That is the Dmr Id for blind hams that we need to key in. And so I'm going to turn on my numlock here, turn it off for a second.
numlock on,
Or numlock on, I'm sorry. So the ID for blind hams is, I believe it's 31679 and 31679. Press tab.
tab, name edit, blind hams, type in text,
And we're back to the beginning. That's all we need for setting up a contact. So we're going to press Control F4 to close the edit box.
close, blind hams, to move through or expand items, use the arrow keys,
And we're going to down arrow
contact 2,
to contact 2. Need to set it up for worldwide. So I'm going to press spacebar.
space, name edit, contact 2, type in text,
And we're going to type in worldwide.
W-O-R-L-D, space, W-I-D-E,
And press tab.
tab, call ID edit, 000000002, type in text,
And the Dmr ID for worldwide is 91.
9, 1,
So just key that in and tab.
tab, name edit, worldwide, type in text,
We're back to the beginning. So we need to close that edit box with Control F4.
close, worldwide, to move through or expand items, use the arrow keys,
And now we have 2 contacts set up worldwide,
blind hams,
blind hams. We're going to close all of that with the left arrow key.
2, digital contact, open, 2 items,
Left arrow again.
digital contact, closed, 2 of 2, 1, contact, open, 2 items,
And we're going to close contacts with another left arrow.
contact, closed, 7 of 11,
Okay, and while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to turn off my numlock.
numlock off,
Okay. Now, the next thing we want to set up are the receive groups. And so we're going to down arrow once.
RX group list, closed,
There's the RX group, receive group. And we're going to open that with a right arrow.
RX group list, open, 1 item,
We have 1 item. We only have 1 receive group that has already been set up. We need to add another one because, as I said, we need 1 receive group for each contact. So we're going to add a receive group by pressing the application key.
context menu, drop down sub menu, to navigate, press up or down arrow, add, A,
Press enter to
enter,
add.
leaving menus, preview, RX group list, open, 2 items, to move through or expand items, use the arrow keys,
So now we have 2 receive groups. Going to arrow down to the first one.
2, group list 1, 1 of 2,
And then we'll press spacebar to open the edit window.
space, name edit, group list 1, type in text, available, list box, blind hams, 1 of 2,
So if you're listening closely, it started off with name, and that the name field is where we want to be. You're going to get a little bit confused in this window because the various fields and controls are not laid out in the right order. So you have to tab around to get to where you want to go. Don't worry, the tabs go in a circle, so you'll always come back to where you started. Excuse me. So what we want to do now is add the Blind Hams talk group to this receive group. And I always, I'll go ahead and type it in.
B-L-I-N-D space H-A-M-S space.
And I usually follow it up with an RX.
RX.
Just to show that it is a receive item or part of a receive group. You'll see later on how this kind of comes to play. So now we tab.
Tab, add button to activate, press space bar, Blind Hams.
And that's not what we want. We want to look for the available listing.
Tab, available list box, Blind Hams, 1 of 2.
And there we go. And we set up 2 contacts, Blind Hams and
Worldwide.
So that's all that's there. So we up arrow once.
Blind Hams.
Back to Blind Hams. Now we passed up the add button, so we need to shift tab to get back to the add button.
Shift tab, add button to activate, press space bar, Blind Hams.
And press the space bar.
Space, member list box, worldwide, 1 of 1.
And now what we want to do is tab to the member listing. So we'll tab.
Delete button to activate, press tab, available list box, worldwide, 1 of 1.
One more time.
Tab, member list box, 001, Blind Hams, 1 of 1, worldwide.
That's what we want. And we want it to hear that 001 Blind Hams because we only want to have one in that member listing. So I'm going to do a say line just to make sure it's there.
001, Blind Hams, 1 of 1.
There we go. The say line control or shortcut is JAWS key and up arrow. But we've confirmed that we just have that one in there, Blind Hams. Now we're finished with that receive group. So we press Control F4.
Close.
And we should go back to the tree. Sometimes focus is lost, and what you need to do is just Alt Tab back out of it and back into it.
Alt Tab, Program Software, Preview, Blind Hams RX, 1 of 2. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
There we go. We got Blind Hams RX. First receive group. Second one, we're going to down arrow.
Group list 2.
Group list 2. We need to fill that in for worldwide, so we press spacebar.
Space, name edit, group list 2, type in text.
And we have the name field, so we're going to type in worldwide.
W-O-R-L-D space, I-D-E space, R-X.
Put RX behind it. Tab.
Tab, add button to activate, press space bar, Blind Hams.
We're going to add tab one more time to the available box.
Tab, available list box, Blind Hams, 1 of 2.
And we've already set up Blind Hams, so we're going to down arrow to worldwide.
Worldwide.
And then we're going to shift tab back to the add button.
Shift tab, add button to activate, press space bar, worldwide.
Press a space bar.
Member list box, Blind Hams, 1
now,
of 1.
We want to tab over to the members list box, so we'll tab.
Tab, delete button to activate, press space tab, available list box, Blind tab, member list box, 001, worldwide, 1 of 1, Blind Hams.
And that's what we want. The member list box. I'm going to do a say line just to make sure we're there.
001, worldwide, 1 of 1.
That's it. So now we're finished with that receive group. Close the window with Control F4.
Close.
And again, we lost focus, so we're going to do an Alt Tab.
Alt Tab, Program Software, Preview, Worldwide RX, 2 of 2. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
We have both of our receive groups set up, Worldwide.
Blind Hams RX.
Blind Hams. So now we're going to close that up.
1. RX group list open. 2 item. RX group list closed. 8 of 11.
Took 2 left arrows to do that. Now the next one is channels. And we'll have to down arrow a few times to get to channels.
Zone closed.
Go past zone.
Channel closed.
There we go. Open that with a right arrow.
Channel open. 3 items.
So we have 3 items conveniently that have been set up for us. We'll need those for blind hams worldwide and the analog repeater that we're going to set up. So we're going to down arrow
to channel 1, 1 of 3.
To channel 1. Press the space bar to open the edit box.
Space. Mode combo box analog. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
The first thing we come to is a combo box. It starts off with analog, but since we're setting up a talk group, a digital talk group, we're going to down arrow
digital
and to digital, and then we'll press tab.
Tab name edit channel 1 type in text.
So we're going to call this blind hams appropriately.
BLIND space HAMS.
And we'll tab again.
Tab combo box type. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
This is the squelch with down arrow to normal.
Normal.
For a talk group, I'm not even sure if squelch is relevant here, but I use normal. I'll tab now.
Tab RX rec left bracket MHZ right bracket edit 140.00000.
So that's your receive frequency. So the one that I'm going to use is a local UHF repeater. And it's
4, 4, 3, period, 1, 1, 2, 5.
So you can use that if you live in Louisville, Kentucky. It works great. We'll tab to the transmit frequency.
Tab TX rec left bracket MHZ right bracket edit 443.11250. Type in text.
And many times it just copies it over. And what you can do is just press your home key.
Home.
And to edit it. And so it's
4, 3.
I want to change the 3 to an 8 because we're up 5 kilohertz.
Period. 8.
So we'll see that, make sure that it's there.
TX rec left bracket MHZ right bracket edit 448.11250.
Yeah, that's what we want. So we're going to tab.
Tab power level combo box low. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Power level is set to low out of the box. We want high.
High.
Because it is a repeater. I am not sure that I could hit it with 1 watt, but we'll, so that's why I changed it to high. And we'll tab.
Tab box checkbox not checked. To check, press space bar.
We'll leave that one alone. We're going to tab until we get to the time slot.
Tab scan list combo box none. The tab allow talk around checkbox tab RX only checkbox not tab digital dual capacity direct mode tab repeater slot combo box 1. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
There we go. Time slot. And it defaulted to 1. You can down arrow to other time slot values. There's a little bit of a confusion about time slots. When you're using a Brandmeister repeater or a hotspot, time slots are kind of irrelevant. Brandmeister is time slot agnostic, so to speak. Time slots actually come into play with the individual repeater owner, and the owner will oftentimes assign a talk group to a particular time slot, 1 or 2, and make it what's called a static talk group. And you have 2 different types of talk groups, static and dynamic. If you have it out of the box, Brandmeister, they're all dynamic talk groups. That means that you have to key your mic button to turn the talk group on for a repeater. Otherwise, you're not going to hear anything. And normally, the timeout is 10 minutes. So if you don't press don't key your transmitter within 10 minutes, then it drops the talk group and you won't hear anything. So, but as long as you're talking and you're keying your mic, you're okay, because each time it resets the time, the 10-minute timer. A static talk group is always up. So if a repeater owner assigns a particular talk group as a static talk group, you go to that channel that has that talk group on it, and you'll immediately hear traffic, if there is traffic. And you don't have to key your mic. You can just leave it set there all day and listen all day. But the general rule of thumb for repeater operators is they use talk group 1 for local, they use that for for wide area coverage, talk groups, and talk group 2 for local area coverage. So in my case, the repeater that we're using here, for instance, Kentucky statewide has been set up as a static talk group on time slot 2. That's sort of a local area for this repeater. That talk group is always on. There are a couple of other talk groups that they've assigned to both talk group 1 or talk group 2 that are static, but everything else is what are referred to as dynamic talk groups. And you can choose whatever whatever time slot you want. For instance, if you chose time slot 1 for blind hams, and you're in Florida, somebody in California chose time slot 2 for blind hams, that's fine. You'd both hear each other, no problems. So I know, clear as mud, but just hang in there with me. For blind hams, we're going to stick with
1.
Time slot 1. And so now you press tab.
Tab, RX group list combo box, none. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Here's the receive option, or for your receive group list. It starts off as none. If you down arrow,
Blind hams RX.
that's the one we want. If you down arrow again, there's worldwide.
RX.
But we want blind hams.
hams
Blind hams. So you tab.
Tab, color code combo box. To change the selection, use the arrow keys. Color code edit combo 0. Type in text.
That's where you need to know the color code of your the repeater that you're on. If you're using a hotspot, it'll be
1.
Up arrow to 1. Going back to time slots, if you're using a hotspot, generally it's always 2. But for this repeater, its color code is 1. And we'll tab there.
Tab, emergency system combo box, none. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Nothing there.
Tab, contact combo box, none. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
This is where we initially in step 1 set up the contact. I'm going to down arrow.
Blind hams.
First one up, we're going to take that. And then we'll tab again.
Tab, private call confirm checkbox not checked. To check, press space bar.
Nope.
Tab, greater button. To activate, press space bar.
Never figured out what that is.
Tab, mode combo box, digital. To change the selection,
And
use the arrow keys.
We're back to the mode combo box. So we're now finished setting up blind hams or a blind hams channel. So we want to exit out of that edit window with Control F4.
Close blind hams. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
And you'll see the channel's been changed to blind hams. Down arrow.
Channel 2.
Oops, that was
Channel 2, 2 of 3.
channel 2. Spoke over it. We're going to set up worldwide on this, so we'll press spacebar to open it up.
Space. Mode combo box, analog. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
And we'll down arrow to digital.
Digital.
And we'll press tab.
Tab, name edit, channel 2. Type in text.
Call that worldwide.
WORLD, space, WIDE.
And press tab.
Tab, combo box, tight. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Down arrow to normal.
Normal.
Press tab.
Tab, RX rec left bracket MHZ right bracket edit 400.00000. Type in text.
Didn't copy it that time. Well, I'll take that back. I haven't keyed anything in yet.
4, 4, 3, period, 1, 1, 2, 5.
And press tab to transmit frequency.
Tab, TX rec left bracket MHZ right bracket edit 400.00000. Type in text.
That's what I meant. Didn't copy it that time. So key it 448.
4, 4, 9,
Oops.
9, 8.
There we go.
Period. 1, 1, 2, 5.
448.125. Press tab.
Tab, power level combo box, low. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Arrow down to high.
High. Tab, Vox checkbox not checked. To check, press spacebar.
Skip that. We're going to keep going until we get to time slot.
Tab, scan list combo box. Tab, allow talk around checkbox not checked. Tab, RX only checkbox. Tab, digital dual capacity direct mode. Tab, repeater slot combo box 1. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
And since we're on the same repeater, it's, well, not necessarily so, but we're still going to use time slot 1 because it is considered to be a wide area talk group. So we'll leave it at 1.
Tab. RX group list combo box. None. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
This is the receive group, so we're going to down arrow.
Line tabs RX.
Nope.
Worldwide RX.
There we go. Worldwide's what we want. And tab.
Tab. Color code combo box. To change the selection, use the arrow keys. Color code edit combo 0. Type in text.
Up arrow to 1.
1.
And tab again.
Tab. Emergency system combo box. None. To change the selection,
Nothing
use the
there.
arrow keys. Tab. Contact combo box. None. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Here's our contact or talk group. I'm going to down arrow to pick up worldwide.
Line tabs. Worldwide.
That's the one we want.
Tab. Private call confirm checkbox not checked. To check, press spacebar.
Actually, we're finished here. So instead of tabbing until we get back to the digital combo box, I'm just going to press Control F4.
Close worldwide. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
And we're back to the tree.
Line tabs. Worldwide.
And we're going to down arrow one more time.
Channel 3.
Channel 3. This is when we're going to set up our analog repeater. Use channel. And so we'll press spacebar to open it up.
Space. Mode combo box analog. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
And we'll leave that at analog since we're just going into a regular repeater. We'll press spacebar.
Tab. Name edit. Channel 3. Type in text.
Going to call this races
RACES.
because this is the local races repeater. And press space or tab.
Tab. Combo box type. To change the selection, use the arrow keys. Normal.
Down arrow to normal.
Tab. RX rec left bracket MHZ right bracket edit 400.00000. Type in text.
And I'm going to type in the
1 4 3 period 0 3 0.
The receive frequency.
Tab. TX rec left bracket MHZ right bracket edit 143.03000. Type in text.
And I'm just going to
1 4 3 period 6 3 0.
put in the transmit frequency.
Tab. Power level combo box low. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Going to go to high.
High.
Down arrow.
Tab. Vox checkbox not checked. To check, press spacebar.
And skip past that.
Tab. Scan list combo box none. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Skip that.
Tab. Allow talk around checkbox not checked. To check, press spacebar.
Nope.
Tab. RX only checkbox not checked. To check, press spacebar.
Nope.
Tab. Analog. Bandwidth left bracket KHZ right bracket combo box 12.5. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Okay, we're going to down arrow to 25 megahertz or
25.
and press spacebar or I'm sorry, press tab.
Tab. Non-SD combo box none. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Tab past that.
Tab. RX tone left bracket HZ right bracket edit combo. To set the value, use the arrow keys or type the value.
If you if your repeater uses a receive tone, you can press Alt down arrow and then down arrow again, and you'll get a list of of tones. But we're going to skip this one.
Tab. Analog. RX signaling system combo box off. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Nope.
Tab. Edit combo. To set the value, use the arrow keys or type the value. TX tone left bracket HZ right bracket edit combo. To set the value, use the arrow keys or type the value.
Yep. I've got a transmit tone on this repeater, so I'm going to press Alt down arrow.
TX tone left bracket HZ right bracket list box.
And if you press down arrow again,
I circumflex form.
that just means that there's none.
67.0.
And there's the first one. You can use first number navigation. I'm looking for 151.4, so I'm just going to type in a 15.
151.4.
Yeah, that's what we need. And I'm going to leave it there and tab.
Tab. Analog. TX signaling system combo box off. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Go past that.
Tab. PTTID type combo box. Disable.
Nope.
To change the select tab. Greater button. To activate, press spacebar.
Nope.
Tab. Mode combo box. Analog. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
We're back to analog. We're back where we started. And that's all we need to set up an analog repeater. I'm going to close this edit window by pressing Control F4.
Close races. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
So we have races,
Worldwide.
worldwide,
Line tabs.
blind hams,
1. Channel open. 3 items. Channel closed. 10 of 11.
closed channels with a left arrow. Now we're going to, the last of the 4 steps is for zones. I'm going to up arrow for that.
Zone closed.
And we'll open it with right arrow.
Zone open. 3 items.
We have 3 zones. And we're going to down arrow to the first one.
2. Zone 1. 1 of 3.
Okay. For this zone, I'm going to put the 2 talk groups into the zone. And in the second zone, I'm going to put the one analog repeater in it, just to show you how you can divide up your different channels. So let's see where we are.
Zone 2. Zone 1.
Zone 1. Going to open it with spacebar.
Space available. List box. Blind hams 1 of 3.
And this is kind of reminiscent of the group, the receive group window. It's kind of jumbled up. Let's just press tab and see what we have.
Tab. Add button to activate. Press spacebar. Blind hams.
Let's see. And we can press Shift tab.
Shift tab. Name edit. Zone 1. Type in text.
There we go. Looking for the name field, and I'm just going to type in Talk Groups.
TALKGOUPDUOGDROUPS. Name edit Talk Groups.
And tab.
Tab. Add button to activate. Press spacebar.
Looking for available.
Tab. Available. List box. Blind hams 1 of 3.
Yeah, that's what. That'll work. So that's been highlighted. Going to back up to the button again, the add button.
Shift tab. Add button to activate. Press spacebar. Blind hams. Space available worldwide. 1 blind hams.
Okay. See where we are here.
Worldwide 1 of 2.
And we're in the available box right now. So worldwide is what we want to add to the zone. So we're just going to leave the highlight there and back up.
Shift tab. Name edit Talk Groups. Type in text. Tab. Add button to activate. Press spacebar.
And press the space bar. You're going to have to tab around on this.
Space available. List box. Races 1 of 1. 002 : world.
And so now let's tab to the member listing.
Tab. Delete button to act. Tab. Available. List box. Races 1 of 1. Tab. Member. List box. 002 : worldwide. 2 of 2. Races. 001 : blind hams.
We up arrowed. We got 001 blind hams. Arrow down.
002 : worldwide.
And 002 is worldwide. That's where we need to be. And those will be the channels in zone 1. The zones, even though we're naming the zones on your radio, they'll come through as mode rather than zone. But you'll just have to remember that the first zone in the list is zone 1 and 2 and so on. And in this case, zone 1, channel 1 is
002 : worldwide.
No.
001 : blind hams.
Channel 1 is blind hams. Starting to get punch drunk here.
002 : worldwide.
And 002 is worldwide. So channel 1 is going to be blind hams. Channel 2 is going. Okay, well let's close this up before I do any more damage. Control F4 will close that edit window.
Close.
And
Alt tab. Preview. Talk Groups 1 of 3. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys. Zone 2.
we just down arrowed.
Talk Groups.
Talk Groups is now the first zone.
Zone 2.
Zone 2, we're going to open that up with a spacebar.
Space. Name edit. Zone 2. Type in text. Available.
Now we got name that time.
Blind hams 1 of 3.
We got a shift tab back.
Shift tab. Member. List box. Shift tab. Available. List box. Shift tab. Add button to shift tab. Name edit. Zone 2. Type in text.
There we go. We're going to put repeaters in this one.
REPEATERS.
See if I got that spelled right.
Name edit. Repeaters.
No.
Home. Selected.
I told you I'm
repeaters.
getting
REPEATERS.
starting to wear down here.
Tab. Add button to activate. Press spacebar.
And the one we're looking for this time is the races in the available list box.
Tab. Available list box. Blind hams 1 of 3.
Down arrow.
Worldwide.
Nope.
Races.
There we go.
Shift tab. Add button to activate. Press spacebar. Races.
So we're going to add that with a space bar.
Space. Member. List box. 0.
And now we want to tab to the members list box.
Tab. Delete button to act. Tab. Available list box. Tab. Member. List box. 001 : races 1 of 1. Worldwide.
Okay, there we go. So for the second zone, which we've named repeaters, but again, your radio is not going to say repeaters when you push the side buttons to change zones or change modes. It's just going to be 1, 2, or 3. But this is the second zone, so it's going to be zone 2. And within zone 2, channel 1 is going to be the analog repeater that we set up. So just to check it one more time.
001 colon races 1 to 1.
There we go. That sounds good. We're going to close it with Control F4.
Close. Blank. Alt-Tab. Program software. Preview. Repeaters. 2 of 3. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
And if you notice, I had the Alt-Tab. JAWS was losing focus, so you'd need to do an Alt-Tab if you don't hear anything. Okay. We are done. And we can close the zones with left arrow.
1. Zone. Open. 3 items. Zone. Closed. 9 of 11.
And now the thing to do is to save it. So to go to the File menu.
Alt F. Menu. New. To move through items, press up or down arrow. N. Save. S.
There we go.
Enter. Leaving menus. Save as dialog. File name colon edit combo. Podcast.dat. To set the value, use the arrow keys or type the value. Alt plus N. Well,
I had already saved this a little while ago, but I called it podcast. That was the name of the file that we're working on. So I'm just going to press enter on that.
Enter. Save as dialog. Confirm save as dialog. Podcast.dat already exists. Do you want to replace it? No button. To activate, press spacebar. Alt plus N.
Of course we want to replace
it. Yes button. To activate, press spacebar. Alt plus Y.
Press space.
Space. Edit unavailable. Type in text. Preview. Zone closed. 9 of 11. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys. Dialog. Save successfully. OK button. To activate, press spacebar.
Yeah,
space.
Right.
Zone closed. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
That is good to know. Okay. Next thing we want to do is upload this to your radio, and I'm going to pause for a few seconds to hook my radio up, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to turn my radio on. And there we go. Got the little kunk sign. There are 2 ways to write the code plug to your radio. One is to hit Alt-P.
Alt-P, menu, read. To move through items, press up or down arrow, R.
And down arrow to
right, W.
Right. You can also do a Control-W to write. You can do a Control-R to read. We're just going to do it this way and press enter on right.
Enter. Leaving menus, cancel button. To activate, press spacebar. 1%.
And we'll get a little progress bar going here.
19%. 33%. 46%. 85%.
There we go.
100%. Right dialog. Right complete. OK button. To activate, press spacebar. Space. Zone closed. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
And that is all there is to it. And turn off your radio. And we're done. Well, I hope everything works for you. I know this was a long and somewhat tedious podcast, but I tried to cover everything as closely as possible. So good luck with it. It's going to take a little time. You may not hit it right off the bat, but once you get it going, and once you enter the first code plug and you get everything working, then you'll see how everything fits together, and it's downhill from there. And you'll be adding and deleting and rearranging things to your heart's content. All right. Well, thanks a lot for listening. Appreciate you hanging in there. This is Russ KN4MLR saying 73s and clear.